Hey everyone, how's it going? Forrest here, again with another installment of my complete analysis of all of J.S. Bach's chorale harmonizations. Today we're looking at Verdammte mein Gemüte, which translates to Be Alert, My Soul. This is a pretty straightforward chorale. We have a little interesting modulation at the end of the first system, but other than that, it's a pretty straightforward one. Not too much going on interestingly in comparison to some of the chorales we've looked at recently. Let's just hop right into the analysis. So we have two flats in the key signature. We start on B flat, we end on B flat. I reckon we are in the key of B flat. We start off with a 1 chord like I just said, passing 7th in the bass, and then we have G, B flat, G, and E flat. That is an E flat major triad in first inversion, so that's 4-6. Passing tone in the alto, and then we get D, B flat, D, and F, which is a B flat major triad in first inversion. Passing tone in the tenor, and then we get G, D, B flat, and F. Very interesting. It's like a B flat major triad with a G in the bass. That's a 6-7 chord. And then we have C, E flat, B flat, and E. However, I think this B flat's an accented non-chord tone, kind of like a 7-6 suspension over the bass. And this is actually A diminished over C, which is 7-6. We see 6 go to 7 with some frequency. And then we have D, F, B flat, and D, which is a B flat major triad in first inversion. Passing tone in the bass. And then we have F major, F, F, A, and C twice, making this a half cadence. And then we finish off the phrase with a perfect authentic cadence in the key of B flat. We have B flat, F, B flat, and D, which is a tonic triad in root position. We have C, C, A flat, and E, which is an A diminished triad in first inversion, passing 7th in the alto. We then have D, C, F, and F with this A happening here as well. So I think this is a D minor chord. So kind of interestingly, this isn't a deceptive progression necessarily, but we see the makings of what would be a normal progression for Bach, 1-7-6 to 1-6. That's a progression we see with a lot of frequency. However, 7 wants to go to 3, and 3 is very similar to 1, so this is just a substitute in this case. But then we go to G, B flat, G, and E flat, so that would be E flat major over G, 4-6. We would expect 3 to go to 6 in the bass, which it does, but he contextualizes it as E flat major rather than G minor. You have a couple of passing tones, a passing 7th in the melody and a passing tone in the bass. We have E flat, B flat, G, and C. That's C minor 7 over E flat, which is a 2-6-5 chord. And then we have F, A, F, and C. F major triad in root position, and an anticipation in the melody as well. B flat before we cadence on B flat, D, F, and B flat. Okay, looking ahead, we have a perfect authentic cadence in the key of C minor, and this interesting modulation point I think happens right at the start here. So we see F, A, F, and C. So that A natural is part of a melodic minor fragment here in the tenor. So I think even though we are kind of used to F major because it's part of the B flat major sound world, I think this is also uppercase 4 in the key of C minor, which is interesting because we would typically expect lowercase 4. In Bach's case, he uses a lot of mode mixture and a lot of harmonization of the melodic minor scale. And when you harmonize the melodic minor scale, 4 turns into major in comparison to minor, which is what it is diatonically in the natural minor scale. We then have D, B natural, F, and D, which is a B diminished chord over D, which is 7-6. So 4 going to 7 is already a good sign. We would expect 1 afterwards. C, C, E flat, and E flat, which is our tonic triad without the 5th, and a doubled 3rd, which is kind of interesting, but we've been seeing that with some frequency in Bach's music. And then we have some passing tones. We have a passing F in the alto and a passing D in the bass. We then have E flat, C, G, and E flat, which is an E flat minor triad in first inversion, so we could just put 6 there, which then gets re-inverted back to root position on 4 and. And as we get ready for the cadence, we have F, C, A flat, and D, which is D minor 7 flat 5 over F, which is 2, 6, 5. We know that Bach loves his 2, 6, 5 chords. We then have G, D, B natural, G, and D, which is a 5 chord, root position. Passing 7th in the alto, turning this into a G7 briefly before we cadence on C minor. C, G, E flat, and C. Okay, looking ahead, we have a perfect authentic cadence in the key of E flat major. Starting off, we have C minor, C, C, G, and E flat, so mark that as 1 because it's a new system. And now call it 6 in the key of E flat major, it's just the relative minor. Then we have B flat, D, B flat, and F, which is B flat major in root position, so in this case it's a 5 chord with a passing 7th in the bass. We have G, E flat, G, G, E flat, B flat, and G, which is E flat major in first inversion, so 1, 6. Passing tone in the bass, neighbor tone in the alto. And then we get E flat, B flat, and G, which is just taking the same chord and putting it in root position. This G right here is a chord tone, so no need to mark it. Here we have A flat, E flat, C, and F, which is F minor 7 in first inversion, 2, 6, 5. We know that Bach loves his 2, 6, 5 chords. We then have B flat, D, B flat, and F. That's a B flat major triad in first root position, which is a 5 chord, passing 7th in the bass. And then we cadence on E flat major, which is our tonic. Okay, moving ahead, we have a half cadence, very similar to the half cadence we started off here at the beginning of the movement. I think we're in the key of B flat, and we can call this E flat chord a common chord modulation as well. We can call this E flat 4. And then we have G, B flat, G, and D. A bit of a deceptive progression. We would expect 4 to go to 5 or to 1, but here it's going to 6 in root position, which is cool. Kind of like how this phrase started 6 going to 5. F, B flat, G, and E flat. However, I think this, F, B flat, G, and E flat. Yeah, I think this F is an accented non-chord tone. And this is actually just an E flat major triad in root position, which is kind of an interesting progression. 4 going to 6, going to 4, passing tone in the bass, the accented passing tone. And then we have D, B flat, F, and F, which is our root position, our first inversion B flat major chord with the passing tone in the alto. We have G, B flat, D, and F, again with our 6, 7 chord, G minor 7 in root position. And then we get C, B flat, E flat, and E flat. However, I think this B flat, similar to how this B flat is an accented non-chord tone, here, making this A diminished over C. It's an 7, 6 chord in the key of B flat. And then we have D, B flat, F, and D, which is B flat major in root position. We have passing tones in the alto and the bass. As you can see, we have pretty much a identical progression here. The only thing that's different is the 4 chord, which is not 4, 6 here. It's in root position because it's part of a larger passing figure. And here we have F, F, A, and C, which is our root position F major chord, which is our dominant 5. And, of course, we end the chorale with a perfect authentic cadence. We have B flat, F, B flat, and D, which is our tonic triad, C, E flat, A, and E flat with a passing 7th in the alto. That is A diminished over C, which is a 7, 6 chord. And then, similarly, we get a progression just like how we had here in the A section, 1, 7, 6, 3, D, D, F, and F, even with the same doublings. It's actually very similar. Instead of 3, 7, which is what this should be actually, this is just a 3 chord with a passing 7th, so there's a little bit of variety here in terms of the voice leading, but still very similar progression. Here we have G, B flat, G, and E flat, which is E flat major in first inversion. 4, 6. Passing tones in the outer voices. Neither of them. We do have a passing seventh actually. Before we go to E flat, B flat, E flat, and C. E flat, B flat, G, and C, which is C minor 7 over E flat. That's a 2, 6, 5. We then have F, A, F, and C, which is 5. It turns into a 7 chord here, even though we have the anticipation in the melody. There's still some 7 action going on here. And then, of course, we cadence on B flat major, B flat, D, F, and B flat, which is our tonic triad. So as you can see, this chorale is pretty much textbook functional harmony. We have pretty normative progressions. I'd say there are some that are pretty unusual, or there's 1, 4, 6, 4 is kind of an unusual progression. Other than that, actually, that might be 3, 4, 2 is kind of a strange progression too. Lots of like predominant chords succeeding one another, which is kind of interesting. Not that 3 is a predominant chord, but sometimes it functions that way. 3 is kind of the unusual chord, as it functions as a predominant chord sometimes, or as a tonic substitute. Kind of the same way with 6, but those are the chords that share chord tones with 2 tones to be exact. But other than that, that was a straightforward chorale today. After a long day, it's nice to have a straightforward chorale, as I've ended a lot of my videos with that sentiment. But all in all, I'd say the most interesting point is using the major 4 as a modulation point to C minor. It's a very beautiful moment. It's a stark contrast from dominant to predominant, or subdominant as well. And I'm happy with that analysis. So thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. I love to see the fact that the channel is growing and there are people who are on this journey with me. I really hope you've been enjoying the analyses so far. They've been bringing me a lot of joy, and I hope to continue to provide content and illuminate some more information about Bach's chorales, because they've been really fascinating up until this point, or they continue to be fascinating. I don't know why I said that. Maybe a Freudian slip. No, they definitely are interesting. That was just a slip of the tongue. But I will leave you on that note. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope you take care.